I have all my little goodies that are going to go into my album cut. I have cut, scored and put tape on just to save time. If you followed your cutting guide, you should be okay with this. Right, so this, I haven't marked this, but I know that this is going to be my front inside cover. This is going to be page 1. So if I show you like how I work, this is my page 1 front, and then this will be page 1 back. So I have put little post-it notes exactly on how I plan to use it. Page 1 front, page 1 back. The little money pocket, that's going to be the little extra that goes inside there. Then I have page 2. Oops, yeah. I have page 2 front, page 2 back. Then the little waterfall is what goes in on page 3. It's also the little insert. Then page 3 front, page 3 back. Then we have another little money pocket. Then we have page 4 front and page 4 back. I lost my one paper clip. Okay, so that's basically how the process. If you prefer to do all your attaching before you put your pages into, before you attach your pages and spine, you're welcome to do it that way. I find this way works much easier for me. So I have already pre-cut and scored everything, as I said. I have my score lines there, and I have put tape on. So again, you don't have to do this to everything, but I prefer to cut a little sliver away from the top of each thing. I'm not going to cut anything here. I'll show you how I do the stacked pocket. So for example, on my pocket, we're just going to take a little bit away from the top like that, so that when it folds over, if you have gone a little bit skew, you don't see any of that sticking out. So it just helps to neaten up your little pocket so that everything's nice and neat to the back. For the pockets, I prefer to cut my little the little square that you've created with the scoring. I like to cut that out. It might be a little bit of a longer way around this, but I find that I'm less likely to make a mistake if I do this than if I just go straight across and cut on the diagonal, because I don't want a deep cut. I just want to again take a tiny little bit of away of the corner. I just want to cut the corner away slightly like that, and same as the bottom one. It's just a slight little piece that you take off like that. So you can see that the little bits I've taken off of that. And then the next thing, I prefer to have my sides of the pocket, they need to fold in first, and the bottom part of the pocket closes that up. That is to prevent my whatever I decide to put in from catching. So if you do it this way, your insert slides in and out quite comfortably. If you do it the other way, you run the risk of, when you slide your insert in, that it actually hooks on this little piece at the bottom. Okay, so you can see that way it creates a nice little groove for your item, your insert, to slide in and out comfortably, rather than putting it this way around where it's going to catch on the bottom here. That's just something I always take into consideration before I attach my pockets. Then for the stacked pocket, I've cut it out the size, and then here is my score line. You can see where the score line is. I'm going to draw a white, use a white pen to draw a line so that you can see. Okay, so essentially that would be my score line, the white line. So what I like to do again is remove the little square that has been created. In this case, we've created a rectangle. Take that off like that. You're going to have to excuse the dogs barking. I can't stop them. And then the same thing as what we did with there. We're going to take, wrong side, this little sliver. You're just going to remove a little sliver from the end. Little sliver from the end. And the same with this. We're just going to cut a tiny little sliver like that, because once we attach the pocket, this little piece slides in here, creating the illusion of two pockets. So your insert, you can have a big insert going there and a small insert going here. But let me show you, once you attach it, that it makes sense. Okay, so I want to be sure that my pocket, my stacked pocket, lines up nicely with my page. I don't want it too far down or too far up, because it must form part of my booklet. So I'm just going to draw a faint line of where I think the stacked pocket should go. Okay, and then this first pocket is going to go on over here, and then we're going to attach the second one. Because of the way I like to do my pockets, I find it easier to stick the pocket together at the bottom before I attach it to the page. So like that, right? Then this one is going to go in over there, and I'm going to attach it about a 1/2 centimeter away from your gusset. So from that score line where the paper is nice and in, I'm just going to make a 1/2 centimeter mark, because I'd like to get it in nice and straight. You do not have to put it so far away. You can put it closer if you like. You can put some pattern paper on now if you want to. It's entirely up to you. You can even have a piece of pattern paper run over it. But I would like my corner of my pocket to meet the diagonal of my join. Okay, so now we can remove the tape backing from the pocket, and we can attach that. So I know where my 1/2 centimeter mark is. I made the other one too high. Let's put it there. Okay. Right. So I'm going to line my side of my pocket up with my 1/2 centimeter guide, and make sure that I have it straight on the line that I've drawn, so that it runs nicely in line with the bottom of my album, the pages of my album. Okay, and then you're just going to burnish that in place. If you're happy that it's straight, you don't have to move it or anything. You can just burnish that in place like that. I'm not worried about here, because I will just put paper in there to hide it. So like I said, by having that score line there, it helps to get this piece to attach in here comfortably and easily, and you can line it up really nicely. If it doesn't want to fit in nicely, like mine is a little bit skew here, then you need to just remove a little bit more of, I think it's on this one, that I would need to just sliver off just a tiny little bit more this way, and a tiny, I think that's right. I don't think no. I need to take a tiny little bit off this side as well. Here we go. So now when we slide the stacked pocket into place, it'll fit in there nicely. So you can just remove your tape backing from the top part of the stacked pocket and slip that in. Use the score line as your guide to line everything up nice and straight. There we go. And we can just burnish that in place. Right, so now you can, when you put something in, you can have a piece that is going to be as long as the pocket. You can stick out the top, and you can have another piece that will also go inside here. So we can have two different heights. Okay, so that is the inside pocket done. So I would just cover this up with a piece of pattern paper. Like I said, you could put the pattern paper on before if you want to, but I just find that it does create a little bit of bulk. And anything that sticks out like this, nothing some washi tape can't hide. Right. So now we're going to go on to page 1, the front. I have also, I mean, you don't want to sit and watch me cut. I have gone and just trimmed off all the little pieces of my flaps. So this one we're going to have over here. This one is going to go over here. And then this one is going to attach to that one. Simple. So the easiest, I think, is to do this attachment first. And I wanted it in the center. So it is about, let's see, 2.5 centimeters from the top. Just a second. I think this one's got to go this way. No, this is right. This one I've got the tape. So this one I have the tape this side because it's going to attach onto the page at the back and not on the front. So we're going to measure 2.5 centimeters from the top. And that is where this one also is going to attach behind. So instead of it being on the top, the tape backing is on that side so that we can attach it like that. Okay, so you would remove your tape backing. We've made there's the 0.5 centimeter mark where we want it to attach. And again, you don't want to attach it flush against the score line. So it is again about 0.5 mil away from that score line. And then I always suggest that you actually fold it closed because that's the only way you're going to see that it's actually working. And remember, there needs to be that tiny little bit of gap because you're going to be adding pattern paper and that's going to bulk it up. So if you stick it too close to the score line, your little flap's going to stay like that because of the pattern paper that you add. So we can then just burnish that down, close it up, and give that a burnish. Alright, so this one is going to attach to this side. I'm just going to put a paper clip to keep it from flapping while we work with it. So this one is going to go this side, and then this one is going to attach that side. And it's again about 2 centimeters, I think, from the top. Double check. Yes. So I'm going to make a 2 centimeter mark. You can eyeball it if you want to. You are more than welcome to work that way. And then, let's see, I don't have a piece of paper to put there. I'll use a little piece of paper towel. I'll get a piece of paper just so you can see where it is. So, and then I'm going to measure 2 centimeters from the top here so that I know that I'm going to get it straight. Okay, so we can attach this one first. This one is going to attach 0.5 mil away from the score line and 2 centimeters from the top. We'll remove the tape backing and attach. Like that. And then just burnish that in place. Remember, it is paper. We have burnished quite a lot, so you want to add enough pressure to be able to burnish, but not so much that you tear your paper. Right, then this one, the tape attaches on the back of page 1. It's going to slide on like that. And then you can just make sure that your top, this one and this one, are nicely in line. I just want to get a piece of paper so that it helps for you to be able to see. Okay, so when I attach this other one, it needs to then, they need to line up over here. Okay, let me quickly do that. The same thing, you want to place it in slightly away from the score line. You don't want to have the flap attached flush against that score line. And when you close it, it lines up nice and straight. Everything looks good. And then you can burnish that in place. Okay. So that is page 1 done. All right. I will go and run through the inserts with you a little later. Okay, so that is there. That opens up like that, like that, like that, and like that. All right. You can even have it like that if you want. It's entirely up to you. Right, so The back of page 1. Oh, you see, I might have put it a little bit too close. No, I haven't. It's just the page opening up. Double check. Perfect. Right, so I'm going to avoid the flapping around, just keep my paper clip there, and that opens up nicely. Right, so the back of page 1 is a side loading pocket. Right, so like I said, I've already done my pocket. We're going to attach that in place. Just make sure that everything is burnished where it should be. Right. Just going to take this out the way a little bit. Again, with my pockets, I'm going to have the 2 bits running down. So I like to get my pocket kind of made before I attach it. It also seems to make it easier to work with. Rather than trying to get 3 flaps in place this way, I have it feels like an entire section that I'm going to put in. Right, so you can again put your pattern paper on first and then add your pocket, but I prefer to embellish afterwards. So I'm going to remove my tape backing. There's the score line. I'm going to make sure that I attach my pocket flush against the bottom and slightly away from that score line. Flush against the bottom of the page. Oh, you can take this out now. Flush against the top of the page. And if I'm sure that it's in nice and straight, that it's going to work, then you can burnish everything in place. But you need to make any changes before you start to burnish, because once you burnish, it's quite the job to try and get it apart. I'll often just leave the mistake in place and make another plan. Right. So now I'm going to put a flap on here. You can, if you want to, around the edges, the corners of your flap, or leave them like this. You can always round them as you're embellishing. In my example, I have rounded the corners. Like I say, those are all things I leave till the end because it's easy enough to get a corner rounder in. Okay, so now we're going to add the flap. So this time I've removed the tape backing. I'm going to add the flap flush against the top and bottom of my page. It's going to be a little bit easier for me to work like this. There we go. So, get everything burnished. Yes, so it opens and closes quite comfortably. Let's see if I can get these flaps. I'll just secure it down. I can secure the back flap and the side flaps. There we go. So now that'll open and close quite nicely. And remember, I've given you a 1 centimeter gusset, so even if we add a whole stack of paper, it'll still take quite a bit before your album does that. It is a little bit bulky now, but I promise you, as you add some weight to your pages, you'll see that it will lay flat when we open and close. So the next step will be to add the money pocket. So this attaches to the front of page 2. It's like a little extra. Okay, so we're going to make the money pocket first before we actually attach the flap to the page. So again, my pockets, I like to create them like this. So if you were wondering which pieces you need the piece that's numbered 8, 9 and 10. Okay, so we're going to attach the pocket. We're going to attach the piece that is number 9, which is the pocket, to number 8. Okay, I'm going to work a little bit upside down because it is easier for me. So same thing, you're going to, oops, like a sticky. I like to leave my flap out. I like to attach my pocket flush against the bottom and flush against the side. Just make sure everything is done before I move it, so it's and flush against the bottom and then in over there. Perfect. Right, so you will attach piece number 9 to the front of piece number 8. Okay, that's that. And then this is the little flap that's going to go on. And again, you can round the corners now, or you can wait till later to round the corners. We're going to attach the flap. You're going to attach piece 10, piece that's number 10, to the top of piece number 8 to create the flap of the money pocket. That goes on. I worked the wrong way around. Let's see if I can get it apart. If not, it's just going to stay and I'll trim it. Okay, that's fine. So you should have, what I should have done is, luckily we've got another one to do, I should have attached it flush against this side and moved it in. It's slightly wonky, but it's not. Once the pattern paper is on, you won't even see that, and once the corners are rounded. Okay, so that is the little money pocket created. This is then going to be attached here. I also have it centered, so I think it's about 1 centimeter from the top. Let's see. You can put it higher or lower as you feel, but I've done it 1 centimeter from the top. You can put it lower so that it's in line with your page, so it forms the bottom of the page. I wouldn't put it too much to the top, so either center or the bottom would be a good option. So I'm just going to make a mark at my 1 centimeter, and then we are going to attach the money pocket to the front of page 2. Okay, again slightly away from the score line. The money pocket I put a little bit further, so I'd say 1 mil instead of half a mil, because it's bulky and it has a flap and it needs to be able to open. So I would put it, it's about 1 mil instead of half a mil away from that score line, just to make it easier to open and close. Right, next we're going to add the belly band. It's piece number 11, according to your, if you're following along on your instructions, your cutting guide. I'm just going to slide this under here so you can see where the page ends. Right, so I want this to be more or less in the center, so I'm just going to wing it like that. So I'm going to attach it 2.5 centimeters from the side of the page number 2, like that. Okay, so that's going to go in like that, and it's more or less centered. You can eyeball it, or you can measure. It's entirely up to you. So on this one I obviously missed the little slivers, so we're just going to cut the corners away. Like that. Okay. And then we're going to attach the belly band to the page number 2. I like to do one at a time. I will rather take the tape. I will rather do one at a time than try and stick them both at the same time. So I've removed the tape backing from the bottom, and I'm using the mark that I made for it to go in straight like that, and I'm going to line it up with the bottom of the page. There we go, nice and straight. And then remove the backing of the top piece and align that nice and straight with the top. When you're working with black, it sometimes helps just to slide a piece of white paper underneath so that you can see exactly what you're doing. Okay, there's that. So that is your money pocket and then your belly band. So let's go to the back of page number 2. So again, we have a pocket. We're going to have another side loading pocket. It's just a little bit bigger than the one that the flap is a bit bigger than the other one, and with a belly band that's going to run across the top. So you need pieces 12, 13 and 14. So we're going to attach the pocket first. So remember, I like to have the long bits underneath. Easier for me to make the pocket first than to try and attach 3 sides at the same time. We'll do it that way. So I'm just going to remove the tape backing from the pocket, and we are going to attach this one same as we did here. You're going to attach this about 1/2 mil away from the score line. You want to make sure that it lines up with the top and with the bottom of your page, like that. Once you've got it in place, you can then burnish everything where it needs to be. Like that. So page 13, the piece that's numbered 13 goes in first. Right, that's your pocket. Then we have the piece that's numbered number 12, that's going to go, that becomes the flap for this pocket. I'll put this here so we can see what you're doing. And this is going to line up like that. Okay. So again, this lines up flush against the top and the bottom and the sides. And attach it like that. Make sure I've got it right. There we go. Okay, so perfect. Right, you can then again, if you want to round the corners or leave them as is. If there is a little bit of overhang, which I think there might be, I would only trim it off after I have started to attach the pattern paper, because sometimes the pattern paper will cause then the bulk of it will cause for that not to be needed to be trimmed off. Okay, so you can always neaten up at the end. Then you need your belly band, which is the piece that is numbered 14, and we're going to attach that also to the center of this, I think more off to this side. So let me see, I think it's 2 centimeters from the right. Yes, so we're going to attach it 2 centimeters from the right, so it's not quite centered, because we have an insert that goes in here and a little flap insert, so it'll look like an extra page sticking out. Right, so let's attach that. Remove your tape backing. Better to do one at a time. Attach this in line with your 2 centimeter mark and flush against the bottom. Make sure I have it straight before I attach. Yes. Attach that. And then attach it to the top. Again, like I said, it helps if you put your little piece of paper in. Make sure I have my 2 centimeter mark. Make sure that it's lined up nice and straight. Right, perfect. Okay, so that one's done and dusted. I just want to use some paper clips to just get my goodies flat.